Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I am Antonio Alanis, and in today's episode, we are going to talk about understanding gallery fees when applying to galleries. If you're new here, I am Antonio, and in this series, I have been talking about the things that I wish I knew when I was applying to galleries as a beginner artist. Now, a little bit of background about myself. I have been exhibiting for the past 8 to 10 years, since about 2016. And in today's episode, I want to give you some information around what it's been my experience when applying to galleries. Welcome back. My thing about an introduction to galleries, as a beginner artist, I had no idea when applying to galleries that they will be charging to submit, to even be considered to what they were creating or having. And it was a surprise that even to be considered, I had to submit a few dollars for someone to read my application. And what I will be sharing today is information that I have gathered from talking to gallery owners, curators, and executive directors who have told me about why it's it that they are charging. So if you are new to applying to galleries, you may be wondering why they're charging to submit to these opportunities. Well, we've come to the right place. This is not financial advice. It's mostly my experience, my opportunity to tell you what has worked for me and what I have observed in the past few years as an artist who has applied to these galleries. So, introduction to gallery fees. Why have they been charging? As a naturally curious artist, one of my biggest questions is why? Every time that I have the opportunity to talk to an artist or someone who is in charge of a gallery, I like to dive in and learn more about what they are doing. And one of my biggest things is as a grant writer, as someone who works in development as well, additionally to the work that I do visually, is understanding cost and all the behind the scenes and financial decisions that people make. And what I have discovered is that galleries have usually charged for people to apply and even charge a commission are for two reasons, and two reasons only. One, to keep the gallery running, to ensure that galleries are creating more opportunities to pay for the rent, to pay for overhead costs, or what we would call things to keep up the gallery running. Anything from rent to electricity to internet usage to anything else that you may need, including marketing. That is one of the biggest reasons that I have seen the galleries charge. Galleries have charged for these opportunities as well for fundraising, which would be the second one. Fundraising allows galleries to create more income and have more opportunities to bring in more money so that they can continue to create more of these things in the future. Now, I cannot speak for any gallery or I cannot speak for any nonprofit that I have worked for, or actually, I never worked for a gallery or that I have met. The thing about in these models, financial models, is that from what I have observed and experienced and seen, is they will usually reinvest the money back in the organization so that they can continue to grow, to pay for other things, to finance other programs or anything related to creating the gallery's opportunity. That has been my most experienced why galleries have charged. Let's continue to talk about why and how galleries are charging, how you may experience some of these gallery fees when submitting or even exhibiting your work if you get in. So the first type of gallery fee would be the submission fee. So the submission fee is when you start creating an application and you submit it to the gallery, you've created your whole essay or your whole why you are applying with the support and documentation of all the pieces you're submitting, their titles, their date, anything like that, once you're ready to hit submit, you will more than likely be asked to enter a credit card number or submit a check. This is the very first part of getting considered or even being a read in before applying to the gallery. It's an opportunity for the gallery to get to know you as a person, if you're applying as an artist or even if you're applying as a group of artists. It's the first opportunity that you have for them to learn more about you. So that'll be the first. Now, if you were to ask me the gallery fees, how much are they? What is the price range? Honestly, I've seen galleries anything from $25, $30 to I think $100. And the beauty about this is that if you're working with a gallery and you're submitting a group or work of a group, or you're part of a collective, you can divide that money among all the artists and the cost can be smaller. So I definitely have worked in that capacity and it was more affordable. I think I ended up paying about $3 or something out of 30. It was good. We can share some of the cost. So that'll be the first, a gallery fee, which would be submission fee. This is just to be even considered. Not a guarantee that you'll get in, but it's the first step. Now, the second gallery fee that I have experienced would be the commission fee. So let's say that you are actually in and everything is planned. You already have a date to apply, to exhibit. So you're being accepted. When it's time for you to be inside, usually the application itself will tell you how much you will be charged if the piece sells, if they are selling the piece. So in the very application, they will tell you X amount of dollars will go to the gallery as a fee for exhibiting your work. So not only are we dealing with a gallery application fee, but also a commission fee based on what you sell. A lot of galleries have been very upfront how much money they would charge. If I were to sell a painting, let's say, worth $100, that they would charge X amount of dollars, and I would get X amount, and they would get X amount. So they would get a cut from that part. And commission fees are interesting. I'm still trying to learn more about them and how people continue to use them. And it makes sense that they're trying to, again, fundraise for the things that they have going on. You may be asking or wondering, what is a commission fee? Now, commission fees I usually have seen at about 20% to 30%, or I've seen the very rare ones that have charged zero commission fees. Out of $100, a gallery may charge 30%. I would get 70%, which would be $70, and then the gallery would get 30% or $30. And that has been a opportunity to learn more about that. On the more 0% fee, all the money that you would make or that an artist would make would go directly to them. So the gallery would not keep any percentage, which again, let's face it, or let's recognize it, being an artist sometimes can be hard, and the more money we can keep, the more opportunities we can make and reinvest in our work and pay whatever bills we need to pay. So that was the gallery fees that I have experienced. I think it's important to talk about these fees before even submitting an application, or even if you have questions, talk to the gallery owners and see what they may offer you. I have never experienced this because a lot of the galleries that I was submitting in the very beginning were pretty much free to submit. However, more in 2024, I'm beginning to see and observe that galleries are more open to talk about waiving fees if there is a need or financial need that artists may have. I think if you want to apply, but you're having trouble submitting your work or even applying to it because of a financial constraint, then maybe it's too much or maybe you can't afford it at that time, I would encourage you to talk to the gallery and see what they would consider. It doesn't hurt. I think it would be a great opportunity for anyone to talk to them and explain why the fee may be a burden or a barrier and see what they say. If you have been listening to the series since I started it, one of the biggest lessons that I have shared here is that it doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to reach out and say, listen, this is what I'm going through, this is what's happening. I hope that you can consider my request. And 9 times out of 10, most things have happened in a way that has helped me and have had the experience of talking to someone who has listened and who has been able to support my cause. Never be afraid to talking to someone and waiving a fee or even negotiating. I think it's a good opportunity to learn about this. That will be the most that I will talk to you about. Some real life examples I already gave you. I think it's a very short episode. It's not too long. And I think the great thing about gallery submission fees is that there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn, and all the behind the scenes that it takes to run a show. It's a lot. Anything from painting the walls to buying materials to hang the paintings. If you have a 2D or work, a painting, that kind of thing will always be a cost. Even paying for people who are working to hang up the work. All this has a cost. All this has a need for the show to happen, from paying electricity to paying the marketing, anything like that. So I think when I began to see it this way, it made a lot of sense that galleries charge these things because it really costs to run a business or a nonprofit. Even if the nonprofit is not making a profit, they may still be adding that money and reinvesting it back into other programming. Maybe they have a class or maybe they have something else like that. So I think that's the beauty about working or having experienced with a gallery or many galleries throughout the years. I highly encourage you to go back to the previous video where we talked about creating an artist bio, or be on the lookout for the next video about pricing your work. And pricing your work is going to be where we talk more about what is it like for me to price my work in a gallery when submitting my paintings or any other 2 or 3D work. My name is Antonio Alanis. I welcome you all to visit my website, antonioalanisart.com, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.